Feed and fodder are any agriculture foodstuff used specifically to feed domesticated livestock. Fodder refers particularly to food given to the animals, including plants cut and carried to them, rather than that which the forage for themselves called forage. Fodder includes hay, straw, silage, compressed and pelleted feeds, oils and mixed rations, and sprouted grains and legumes such as bean sprouts, fresh malt or spent malt. Most animal feed is from plants, but some manufacturers add ingredients to processed feeds that are of animal origin. It also includes vitamin or mineral supplements which are chemically synthesized or otherwise manufactured pure nutrients. Anything that is fed to an animal is the feed. Broadly, various feeds and fodders used in livestock feeding are classified into either concentrates of plant sources or animal sources, or roughages are classified into dry fodder, green fodder, silage, grass fodder and tree leaves fodder, and unconventional feeds, that is supplements and feed additives. In this episode, concentrates and green fodder, which are the main ingredients of feed and fodder, may be explained to today. Concentrates. These are the feedstuffs which contain less than 18% crude fiber and more than 60% TDN. They are less bulky and have higher digestibility. They are concentrated source of nutrients and therefore they have higher nutritive value than roughages. The concentrates are further classified into energy rich concentrates, for example cereal grains, cereal grain byproducts, roots and tubers. Next one is protein rich concentrates. Here the plant origin is example oilseed cake, pulse chunni, brewer's grain and yeast. Other one is animal origin. For this example is fish meal, meat meal and blood meal. So let us see the concentrate feeds. Concentrates for dairy feeding are prepared with the different ingredients, descriptions and forms, each with their own advantages and limitations. Concentrates must be carefully selected to balance the specific nutrients provided by the forages available for the most efficient ruminant digestion, greatest cow productivity and most cost effective herd performance. Although homegrown cereals have traditionally been important in dairy rations and there is increasing interest in a variety of homegrown protein feeds, in most systems the majority of dairy concentrates are brought in. Concentrates invariably have a higher unit cost than forages, although when their higher nutrient densities are and drying matters are taken into account as well as the capital costs of forage production, differences in overall value tend to be very much less. Now we will see the main features of the concentrates. Providing highly concentrate sources of nutrients to supplement forages. Supplying valuable starch, sugar and proteins for ruminant digestion. Offering a broad choice from individual ingredients to complete balanced supplements. Concentrates provide the essential extra energy and protein dairy cows need on top of forages to support modern production levels. The main concentrate types are straights, blends and compounds. The suitability of these different concentrates types for individual herds depends on facilities and feeding systems as well as relative cost and convenience. Now we will see the straights. Straights are made from individual feed ingredients either homegrown or purchased. The key advantages of straights are confident about the nature of concentrate being known nutrient sources. It offers good economy compared with the compounds. It provides complete flexibility to fine tune concentrate based on the requirement. Now, we will see the key disadvantages of straights. The different ingredients with similar names can have very different nutrient values. Quality and analysis can vary between loads. Large loads are often necessary to secure the best prices. Adequate dry vermin free storage is required. The minerals and vitamins will need to be added on farm. Sufficient farm ration formulation skill is required. Let us see the home grown concentrates. Wheat, barley and oats have traditionally been used in ruminant feeding, with triticate, peas and beans also being grown, combined and stored for feeding on some units. These feeds can either be stored dry or in moist form, treated with popcorn, sodium hydroxide or other proprietary additives to minimize spoilage and wastage. Crimping will generally enhance the feeding characteristics of treated feed stored moist. If stored dry, the grain will need processing through a roller or hammer mill to ensure it can be thoroughly digested and utilized. Whether homegrown or purchased, cereals and pulses are useful suppliers of energy and crude protein to a diet. We will see the key points for homegrown concentrates. Care needs to be taken with inclusion rates, especially where the grains are finely ground. The starchy energy from cereals can have a beneficial impact on milk protein production. The readily fermentable energy in wheat in particular means acidosis can be a risk with high inclusions. The peas and beans can be slightly unpalatable due to tannin levels. Both cereals and pulses can safely be fed at up to 30% of the concentrate ration. Less need for balancing than some other straights may add to their cost effectiveness. Now, we will see the purchased straights. Most of the wide range of other straight feed ingredients available are byproducts of food or industrial processes. They are needed to value depending both on the value of their original raw materials and the way in which they have been processed. The wide variation between different feeds is compounded by the fact they are often derived from a large number of different factories and countries and may have been transported over long distances under a range of different conditions. We will see the key purchased straight points. The precise description and value of the feed should be obtained before purchase. Analysis of each load can significantly improve the accuracy of rationing. Some ingredients need particularly careful use in rations. Over processing and contamination can interfere with nutritive value. Purchasing from a reputable source can reduce the risk of problems. Mineral supplements will generally be needed. Significant on-farm ration formulation work is required. Let us see the blends. Blends are prepared from unpelleted mixtures of ingredients in varying degrees of sophistication. Blends are essentially intermediate between straights and compounds. The key advantages of blends are known nutrient sources and analysis, offering some economy compared with the compounds, improving cash flow compared to large loads of individual straights, saving on-farm mixing and ration formulation complexity. The key disadvantages of blends are different sources can differ widely in the sophistication of blending. Mixing can be variable depending on the product. Ingredients can separate out during storage and handling. Quality and analysis can vary between loads. The minerals and vitamins may or may not be included. Adequate dry vermin-free storage is required. Some degree of farm ration formulation skill is likely to be required. Now, let us see the compounds. They are prepared from pelleted mixtures of ingredients, generally well balanced and mineralized. Compound cattle feed contains grains, brands, oil cakes, mineral mixtures and vitamins as source of protein, energy, minerals and vitamins. Compound cattle feed can be fed according to level of milk production. Composition of compound cattle feed can be adjusted region wise and season wise so as to meet requirement of animals. If fed along with dry forage, that is straw, helps improving intake and utilization of straw by way of associated effect. Compound cattle feed is a balanced and palatable source of nutrients for growing, adult, milk and producing and pregnant animals. Its regular use helps in improving growth rate in young calves. As it contains desirable amount of minerals and vitamins along with other nutrients, its use helps improving reproductive efficiency. Calves born are healthy if fed to pregnant animals. Though regular use of compound cattle feed in prescribed quantity, cost of milk production from dairy animals can be minimized and net profitability can be maximized. Let us study the different types of compound cattle feed. Different types of compound cattle feed are produced by the feeding milling plants. Variations in feed formulations are also necessary due to the availability of different basal feeds in the different seasons. Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying India has recommended specifications for different types of feed. Specification for type 1 of compound feed. The crude protein should be minimum 22%, crude fat will be minimum 4%, crude fiber is maximum 10%, sand silica maximum 3%, vitamin A minimum 7000 international units per kilogram, vitamin D3 minimum 1200 international unit per kilogram, vitamin E minimum 30 international unit per kilogram, common salt maximum 1%, calcium minimum 0.8%, phosphorus minimum 0.5%, available phosphorus minimum 0.25% and aflatoxin B1 maximum 50 parts per billion. Now, we will see the specification for type 2 of compound feeds. The crude protein minimum 20%, the crude fat minimum 2.5%, crude fiber maximum 12%, sand silica maximum 4%. Other ingredients are same as that of type 1. Now, let us see the specification for type 3 of compound feed. The crude protein is minimum 18%, the crude fat will be minimum 2%, the crude fiber maximum 15%, the sand silica of maximum 5%, other ingredients will be same as that of type 1. We will see the key advantages of compounds. Being nutritionally consistent from pellet to pellet, giving no opportunity for ingredient selection during feeding, offering fully balanced feeds with mineral and vitamin inclusions, providing the greatest ease and convenience of use, improving cash flow compared to blends or straights, no farm mixing or ration formulation required. We will see the key compounds of points. Formulation and processing makes them more expensive than either straights or blends. Little information may be provided on the precise ingredients or formulation. The only flexibility offered to adjust rationing is by the amount fed. On most units, it is generally difficult to store more than 2 compounds simultaneously. The consistency and quality of pelleting may vary between suppliers, mills and deliveries. Let us see the age and status wise feeding requirement of compound cattle feed. Cattle feed can be fed directly or by mixing it with chaffed dry or green fodder. Cattle feed need not be cooked or pre-soaked before feeding. Compound feed should be uniformly mixed with the forages and fed for better results. Animals need to be fed on daily basis. For the small breed cows, that is around 300 to 400 kilogram of body weight, for the maintenance of the cow we should give 2 kilograms of feed, and for milk production 0.4 kilograms for every litre, and for pregnancy 2 kilograms for minimum 2 months. For large breed cows that weighs 400 to 450 kilogram body weight, for the maintenance of the cow we have to give for 2.5 to 3 kilograms. For milk production 0.4 kilogram for every litre of milk. For pregnancy we should give minimum 2 months 3 kilos rate. For small breeds buffalo 300 to 400 kilograms body weight. For maintenance we should give 2 kilograms. For milk production 0.5 kilograms per litre, and for pregnancy 2 kilograms for minimum 2 months. For large breeds buffalo that weighs 400 to 450 kilogram body weight, for maintenance we have to give 2.5 to 3 kilograms. For milk production 0.5 kilograms per litre. For pregnancy 3 kilograms for minimum 2 months. Now we will see the balanced concentrate mixture. A balanced mixture is usually prepared in such a manner that 3.5 to 4 kilogram of it may be support 10 liters of milk production. Normally in dairy animals this mixture is fed at rate of half of the milk yield, that is 1 kilo of concentrate mixture for every 2 liters of milk. Balanced concentrate mixture feeding is essential for dairy animals because a single concentrate like maize, barley or oat and oilseed cake alone cannot meet the requirements properly. If a single concentrate such as maize, sorghum or barley is considered for feeding of 400 kilograms lactating buffalo yielding 10 liters milk, about 7 kilogram grain will be needed to provide the protein requirement. Inferior quality hay or straw roughage is not only costly but also harmful. Similarly, when high protein oil cake like groundnut and till cakes are used as a single concentrate, the excess of protein is wasted and the ratio between protein and carbohydrate is also disturbed, which affects milk production. So, next we will study the green fodder. Any feed that is made from green crop like legume crops, grass crops, cereal crops or tree based crops is called green fodder. Green fodder plays important major role in feed of milch animals in providing required nutrients for milk production and health of the dry animals. Green fodder production provides the better option of feed buying alternative for farmers who are planning to go for dairy farming. Green fodder can be cultivated in open fields choosing right hybrid perennial variety. Green forages have cooling effect on the animal body. More palatable, contain easily digestible nutrients, provide fresh, effectively utilizable nutrients in natural form and slightly laxative. The use of concentrates no doubt will give the greatest animal production per unit feed intake, but this may not be economical in countries like India where grains and concentrates are costly and are in short supply. On the other hand, animals yielding as high as 8 liters of milk can easily be maintained solely on green fodder without any concentrate. So, let us study the importance of green fodder. Green fodder provides a natural way of nutrients for animals and plays a major role in livestock growth and health. Green fodder cultivation cuts the cost of feed. Producers green fodder can be made into silage and used in future. Green fodder production time is short and most of the varieties are perennial. One can get fodder for years. Cultivation costs and maintenance of the green fodder is very low. Green fodder is the primary only source of vitamin A. Vitamin A is in the form of a precursor. Requirement of vitamin A is 50 international unit live weight for maintenance and 87 international unit for maintenance and production. Vitamin A is important for maintenance and function of the mucous membrane. Vitamin A is directly related to vision. Vitamin A is essential in reproduction, conception, early embryonic mortality, maintenance of pregnancy, shedding of placenta. Vitamin A is essential for the respiratory tract. Vitamin A is essential in the gastrointestinal tract or digestive tract. Deficiency causes diarrhea, malabsorption of nutrients, etc. Vitamin A is essential for the urinary tract. Deficiency causes stones in the kidney, ureter and bladder. During lactation, 2000 international unit of vitamin A is eliminated in every liter of milk. It has to be replenished. Green fodder is a laxative in action. Green fodder is sources of minerals, crude protein, total digestible nutrients and dry matter. Let us see the types of green fodder. Legume fodder, the next one is cereal fodder, then grass fodder and tree fodder. First we will see the legume fodders. So, irrigated crops, hedge lucerne, cowpea, cluster beans, soya and centro. In rain-fed crops, hedge lucerne, stylo, desmanthus, ceratro, sangupuspam, and short term crops PGNP, horse gram, lab, cowpea and cluster beans. Now we will see the cereal fodders. In irrigated crops, forage maize, forage sorghum and forage kambu. In rain fed crops, forage sorghum and forage kambu. We will see the grass fodders. In irrigated crops, kambu napier, hybrid grass and guinea grass. In rain fed crops, kolkata grass and dinanath grass. Now we will see the tree fodder. Trees which can be grown either in combination with agriculture crops or on separate land, usually not fit for agriculture, offer opportunity of producing green nutritious fodder for the livestock. It is seldom realized that in some parts of our country probably more animals feed on shrubs and trees than on grass or grass legume pasture. Trees can produce as much as if not more green fodder per unit area as agriculture fodder crops. The more important desirable economic features of a tree species are be reasonably easily and reliably established. It exhibits a good competitive ability against weeds, remain regally productive under repeated ability or grazing and browsing, be well adapted to the particular climatic and edaphic features of the environment. It requires no or little fertilizer, be resistant to local pests and diseases, should have adequate forage production or be reliably vegetatively propagated and have good nutritive value and reasonable palatability and acceptability to animals. Let us study the feed standards and specifications. For cattle and poultry, nutritional standards have been prepared with respect to the genotype, environment, quality of available raw materials, maintenance methods, production and reproduction requirements, production capacity and phase of production. The Bureau of Indian Standards (BIS) is a central government organization, has specified 2 types of feed for cattle in India. The type 1 feed should contain moisture maximum of 11%, the crude protein 22% maximum, the crude fat minimum of 3%, crude fiber should be maximum of 7%, acid insoluble as maximum of 3%. The type 2 feed should contain moisture of maximum 11%, crude protein maximum of 20%, crude fat minimum of 2.5%, crude fiber maximum of 12%, and acid insoluble as maximum of 4%. Now let us summarize the topic. Feed and fodder are any agricultural foodstuff used specifically to feed domesticated livestock. Fodders refers particularly to food given to the animals, including plants cut and carried to them rather than that which they forage for themselves, which is called forage. Fodder includes hay, straw, silage, compressed and pelleted feeds, oils and mixed rations, and sprouted grains and legumes such as bean sprouts, fresh malt or spent malt. It also includes vitamin or mineral supplements which are chemically synthesized or otherwise manufactured pure nutrients. Broadly, various feeds and fodders used in livestock feeding are classified as concentrates of plant sources or animal sources, roughages. Roughages are classified into dry fodder, green fodder, silage, grass fodder and tree leaves fodder, and unconventional feeds, that is supplements and feed additives. Concentrates are the feedstuffs which contain less than 18% crude fiber and more than 60% TDN. They are less bulky and have higher digestibility. They are concentrated source of nutrients. Main concentrate types are straights, blends and compounds. The suitability of these different concentrates types for individual herds depends on facilities and feeding systems as well as relative cost and convenience. A balanced mixture is usually prepared in such a manner that 3.5 to 4 kilograms of it may support 10 liters of milk production. Green fodder is any feed that is made from green crop like legume crops, grass crops, cereal crops or tree based crops. There are 4 types of green fodder, namely legume fodder, cereal fodder, grass fodder and tree fodder. The Bureau of Indian Standards (BIS) is a central government organization, has specified 2 types of feed for cattle in India.